Welcome to this presentation, giving you a little bit of information about the Year 9 residential trip we have planned for Cologne, which will be from the 8th of July to the 11th of July. This is Mr. McDonald here. I'll be the trip leader running the trip, and I'm going to go through a little bit of information and hopefully answer a few questions you may have about the upcoming trip. Now, firstly, I just want to make this very clear. This is a very important announcement. We will have pupils that suffer from severe nut allergies. So when we are on the coaches in particular, and when we're in travel groups and when we are coming together as a school, it will be a nut-free trip. So please can you make it clear to your sons that they are not to have any nuts while we are in groups, and particularly on the coach. It's very important. So if they're going to take a packed lunch, there needs to be absolutely no nuts in that packed lunch for me. So we need to make it very, very clear that there's to be no nuts on this trip. Okay, so let's start with what some of the aims of this trip will be. Well, hopefully your son will have an opportunity to have try out some new things, have some new experiences, try some new foods, some new activities. We're hoping that they will perhaps develop some new friendships with people they may not have had a chance to hang around with yet in the first 3 years. Being away from parents and building a bit of confidence and some independence as well. They should be able to develop some confidence and some independence from this trip. Hopefully show some leadership skills while out there in their groups. To organise themselves a little bit better. But let's be honest, most of all, the most important thing here is that they have fun, and I do hope that they have a very, very enjoyable time while on this trip. So the staff that will be attending this trip, myself obviously, Mr. McDonald, I'll be the trip leader as mentioned before. Mr. Waghorn, he will be my deputy trip leader. He has got a wealth of experience, having done many, many residential trips during his time as a teacher here at Hurstmere. Then we've got a fantastic team, including lots of teachers from different departments. We've got Miss Brennan, Mr. Brown, Miss Hong, Miss Lambert, Mr. Lever, Mrs. Murphy and Miss Payne. So a very good team I'm excited to take on the trip with us.
So on to some basic timings for this trip. So obviously we'll be departing on the 8th of July. Our coaches are due to depart at 8 o'clock in the morning, so we need to make sure that your sons are at school for 7:15 so we can register them, get them into travel groups, get them ready to depart. So we'll give us about 45 minutes to get all that sorted out and then get us on the coach. So please make sure your son is with us for about 7:15. And then when we return, our return date is the 11th of July. Our ferry is due to arrive at Dover at 7 o'clock in the evening, with an approximate arrival time at school at 9 o'clock. So please be ready to collect your son at 9 o'clock. We will let the pupils know a little bit nearer the time if we do have a more accurate ETA and they can pass that information on. But if you could be on the school site for 9 o'clock to collect them, that would be great. When you are picking up and dropping off your sons, please, as you would normally do for a school day, please don't park on the school site. Please park on the streets outside if needs be. But yeah, don't park on the school site, please.
So what should we be packing for this trip? Obviously suitable clothing. Ideally I'd like if you could label this please, just in case there is any loss of clothing, just so you know whose is whose. A refillable water bottle will be essential. The first day it's recommended to bring quite a big packed lunch. We will be travelling for a lot of the day. They will have a chance to eat some meals, but it's a good idea to have a packed lunch for that first trip out. And obviously make sure there are no nuts in that packed lunch, please. Sun cream and a hat. Hopefully we'll have some good weather, and if that's the case then obviously they need to take some precautions to avoid any sun damage or sunburn, so yeah, please bring us some sun cream and a hat. Spending money, which I'll get onto in a little bit to explain a little bit more about that. So can I ask that they only have 2 pieces of luggage, so one main luggage with all their clothes on it, which will go under in the sort of hold area of the coach, and then like a small backpack or something like that, like a hand luggage, which they can have their packed lunch in it for that first day. You don't need to pack towels, so the hotel will be providing towels, so you don't need those. Pupils are allowed to take their mobile phones. We have no issue with pupils taking their mobile phones. They're going to be on the coach for a long time, so it'll give them something to do. So make sure they pack a charger for that. Normally there is charging points on the coaches, but this depends on what coach we get from the coach company. But in my experience, they tend to have charging points on the coach. If they want to bring their chargers, that would be helpful. But that is it for valuables, really. Please can I ask your sons not to bring anything else of value. Unfortunately, we can't take any responsibility for it, so I'd hate for them to be losing expensive items while out on the trip. Okay, speaking of money, pupils will be responsible for their own money. They will need some spending money while out there. They will need to basically provide a lunch, mainly per day, or a meal per day, which would be about 10 to 20 euros. It's up to you whether you want to put that onto some sort of prepaid card or give your son cash. Either way is fine. If you're happy for them to take responsibility for the money, that's great. If you'd rather we looked after it and gave them an amount on a daily basis, so that they have a better, so we can budget for them, then please put your son's name on envelopes with Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday on it, with the son's name, and then put whatever money you want for them to have on a daily basis, and then we can dish out that money on each day to your son, just to help them budget if you wish to take that option. But yeah, it's up to you if you want to let your son have the money. If they want to take anything over 10 to 20 euros for spending money, that is at their responsibility. We wouldn't recommend it taking much more than that. If they want to maybe buy a souvenir or something like that, they may. Okay, so now to the fun stuff. What we'll be doing. Well, not the first day. The first day is not much fun stuff. It is mainly travelling. However, as mentioned, please bring a packed lunch for the first day because they will be in the coach for a long time. Again, make sure there's no nuts in it. We will be departing Hurstmere at 8 o'clock, so make sure that their son is ready. Unfortunately, we will not be able to wait for pupils who have not turned up on time, so make sure your son is ready at the departure time. Our ferry should be leaving at midday and arriving at 3 in the afternoon it's accounting for our time difference. So it's about a 2-hour crossing because we're going to Dunkirk. So from 3 o'clock, so on the ferry, your son will get a meal voucher, so they'll get a meal on that ferry. So yeah, they'll get that provided for them. But in the evening, we've got a few options. We don't know exactly where we're going to stop yet. We've got a few options. We'll see how we're getting on traffic-wise and how we're getting on with our onward journey. But we will be stopping somewhere, likely to be a services or a service station, where your son will be able to grab himself an evening meal. So they will need to have some money to pay for that evening meal on day one. We estimate we should arrive at the hotel at approximately 9 o'clock. So a very long day's travelling, unfortunately. And now to the actual fun. So day two, early start, 8 o'clock in the morning. So they'll be getting up. There will be a buffet breakfast in the hotel. And then about an hour and 15 minutes later, we will get on the coaches for our first activity, which is where we're going to the Cologne Zoological Gardens. Now, I'm told there's over 10,000 animals at this zoo, 850 species in over 20 hectares. It's supposed to be a very, very good zoo, so looking forward to that. So we're going to stay there till about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, when we're going to go on a walk to Cologne. During that day, pupils will be expected to buy their own lunch while at the zoo, so they need to make their own arrangements to get some lunch while at the zoo. So yeah, 2 o'clock, we will have a walking tour of Cologne. It'll be our chance for us to explore the town and have a little look around. And then at 4:30, we will be having a river cruise. Okay, so I'm told we're going to embark on a journey through history and enjoy the unique culture landscape of the Rhine Valley on the river cruise. So that should be nice. About an hour's cruise there. That would be good. From there, we're going to go to our evening meal. Now, the size of the restaurant means that we can't fit everybody in at once. So the first group, the people on the first coach, their meal at 6:30, and then the second group will have their evening meal at 8 o'clock. There is a shopping centre nearby for the group that isn't eating there if they wish to. It may be that the later group, we can go back to the hotel, see how we're getting on for time with that one. But yeah, there will be other things to do when your son isn't eating their meal and the other group is eating their meal at that time. On to day 3, again breakfast at 8 o'clock, and today's activity, so the third day's activity will be Phantasialand, which is, I think it says here, the oldest and most popular theme park in Germany. 6 different country theme zones, and there's 40 different attractions and roller coaster rides. So yeah, should be a really good day out there at Phantasialand. Again, during that day out, pupils will be expected to make their own arrangements for lunch. So while they're out in the theme park, they'll be expected to grab themselves a little bit of lunch, so they will need some spending money for lunch during that day. Full day at Phantasialand at 6 o'clock in the afternoon. We will get our coaches back into the town centre, where we will have an evening meal at a restaurant I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce because I'll absolutely butcher it, but you can see there the name of the restaurant we're going to. Now, this place apparently is right opposite the Cologne Cathedral, which will be good. It's been open since 1904. It's got a rustic and cosy Cologne atmosphere with its medieval vaults and Romanesque arches, so it sounds like a really nice place for our evening meal. So on to our final day. Once again at 8 o'clock, we'll have our breakfast at the hotel, and then 9 o'clock we'll be checking out of the hotel and making our way to the coaches. Down to Dunkirk, and again we will stop at some point depending on traffic where the most suitable place is. We've got a few different options, once again things like a service station where your son will be able to grab themselves some lunch, so please make sure they've got a little bit of money to get themselves some lunch on the final day. We will have a stop off at 2 o'clock at the Tyne-Cot Cemetery, which is the largest Commonwealth War cemetery in the world, so that should be a good experience for there. And then after 45 minutes we'll again get on the coaches, make our way to Dunkirk to get on the ferry. Our ferry is due to depart at 6 o'clock and arrives in Dover at 7 o'clock in the evening. Your sons will be provided with a meal voucher, so they'll be able to grab themselves an evening meal whilst on the ferry. At 9 o'clock, we should be arriving back at Hurstmere, so please be ready to collect your sons from Hurstmere at 9 o'clock. Okay, so for those of you who sons need to be taking medication, when you get to the school, please hand this over to us. There'll be a designated medic, basically, who will be in charge of the medication for the trip, and then we will hold of it and then issue it to your son. If you are happy for your son to take responsibility for his own medication, most pupils at Year 9 are okay with that, so if you want us to just hand out the medication to them and they can look after it for themselves, we can do that. But if you prefer for us to give them their tablets at the right time or their medication as they do, if that is required, then we will have somebody designated to do that. So just let us know when you drop your son off if you'd like us to give out the medication to them individually. A few expectations. We will still be holding the pupils to our high expectations that we have whilst at Hurstmere School. We do want pupils to be respectful to each other and to members of the public and any staff we encounter. We like that they make sure that they keep their rooms and that the coach litter. And unfortunately, if it comes to the situation where your son's behaviour is not acceptable, or it's not safe, or it's inappropriate, unfortunately we may have to take the decision to remove them from certain activities. They may have a period of time with a member engaging in the activities they should be doing and the fun they should be having. I do hope that doesn't come to fruition, and hopefully we won't have to do that, but just want to let you know that if your son isn't behaving, then we will have to stop him from engaging in certain activities. Okay, so now I'll try and respond to some questions that I've had from various parents, to hopefully answer some of those for everybody. In terms of passports, we will hold on to your son's passport, so your son's group leader will have the passports secured for each of their group members. So we will take your son's passports straight away on the first day. We will only then give them back as they go through passport control, and then we'll get them collected back in so that we will be responsible for your passports, for your son's passports. So yeah, they won't have their passports for much of the trip. It will, as they go through passport control, we'll look after those for them. If there is an emergency, you do need to get through to your son for whatever reason, and you can't get hold of them on their mobile, then please do call the office in the first instance, and they will know who to call. and we do have all your contact details should we need to get in touch with you in the case of an emergency. And one other thing that has come up is the pupils, I think they should all be aware now, they are in twin rooms and that they have decided who to share with. So that has now been all sorted. If there are any quick issues with that, do let me know. Okay, so to finish off then, if you do have any further questions, please do feel free to email me or give the school a quick ring, and they'll put you through to me should you need to discuss anything or have any further questions. One final reminder, I just really want to emphasise this, please do not let your son bring nuts on the trip, and certainly not on those coaches. It is a nut-free trip and we do need to make sure that that is adhered to. Other than that, I do hope your son has a wonderful time. I'm really, really looking forward to taking them on this trip. I think it's going to be an amazing experience for everybody. And yeah, I can't wait for it to take place. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you have a great day.